system domain, endpoint manager overview, users management, group management. You might be aware of few of the things here, right? And then setting up the APNS, Apple Push Notification Services. Then there would be like RBAC policies, and there are in Google account setup is also done here, but that part is not added yet. And then we'll move towards the architectural configuration and setup like enrollment method and setting up enrollment restrictions policies, Android enrollment method like Android device administrator, Android enterprise, whereas in iOS we will only be covering this default enrollment method. Then there is a policies we are going to learn for all its platform, Android, iOS, Mac, and Windows. There are configurations policies we have. Then there is a conditional access policies for all 4 platforms. Then we'll move towards this MAM section, which is mobile applications management, right? Starting with the introduction and then app deployment, like store application, enterprise app store, inbuilt LOB, web link, and then if it is Windows, then it will be the Win32 as well. Okay, I think that is added into the Windows section. Then applications lifecycle, add, assignment, upgrade, and removal. Then we have a user device enrollment after setting up all the architectural things, policies, and everything. We will perform the enrollment, device enrollment, be it Android, iOS, and Windows. I mean, it depends on the availability of the devices which we have. Okay. Then in this Windows Autopilot, we will start with the overview, moving then branding, white glove feature, enabling Windows 10 automatic enrollment, hardware hash ID, extracting hardware hash ID using automated and manual method. Then enrolling physical and the virtual Windows devices in Intune using Autopilot. Then we have ESP pages, Windows All Over Business. So these are the basically you can go through with that topics that we're going to cover with through this entire session. Okay. Let me just start the presentation.
I guess this module is in line with MD102, right? Because earlier it used to be 100 and 101, but later on Microsoft merged them to MD102.
You will find that it's a combination of that, not directly proportional to that exam, but this will be a combination of it because this we designed it based on a organizational requirement, right? So they had
Mhm.
some required things. कि मेरे trainer, मेरे student को ये चाहिए. Right? Since then, that has been continuously following that. So you may
Sure.
find some are included, some are excluded. So you may find additionally over the Google as well, or if in case we can discuss it.
Sure.
Okay, starting with the product overview. So I believe we all go to the offices or we don't, or are we just working from the home? How
Office.
about that? Go to office.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically this image I have taken from the office perspective. So this is the image of office where people are working together, right? Because nowadays people don't go. I have not gone office from the last 6 to 7 years, right? So all I have been working from home. I just go to the office once or twice in a week and then rest I work from home. Okay. So in office, usually we met with devices, hardwares, and the users as well. So here you can see there are users, right? They work together into the office, and other hand side there is a handle. There are devices as well, like desktops and laptops are given to work on the business activities, right? So again, there are users. There are two types of user. One are normal user, and another is the admin user, right? So admin can be again from the IT administrative perspective, and another admin can be from the business applications perspective, right? So usually people understand admin in the name of the IT admins only, right? So these desktops and laptops are connected together into the office, right? So they are the LAN, right? And sometimes they also connected with the WAN as well, right? Wi-Fi. They are the internal Wi-Fi. Okay. Other connectivity mode is VPN, which people use, but it usually, it usually treated as like the VPN and LAN both are equivalent. If you're connected with the LAN into the office and if you're connected to the VPN outside or inside the office, both network are same, right? So these are the devices that helps you to become productive within the office, right? But let's say if you are given with the laptops that allows you to become productive from the home as well, so that you have a privilege to work from home. You can connect to the business application and resources outside the office network, of outside the office premises as well, using the VPN. Okay. Now, along with this, at all the times you cannot carry the laptop. Like, you can only carry the laptops when you are at the office or at the home and performing the business activity. But what happens when you are on the road, right? Or at the vacation, or you are moving on the beach side or something like that. So what happened in that case? Let's say you are into the critical positions where your approvals, your suggestions, your intervention is required all the time. So what happens in that case? You do not carry your laptop and desktops all the time. So what you do is that you handle your personal device, you handle your mobile things. Okay. So mobile things is also, I mean, carryable when it is personal, but when organizations say, I will give you another device, handle devices to work on. So would you carry both of the cell phones along with you when you are on the road, on the bus, on the airport? So the requirement is all that you should be connected with the office networks, even if you are o- outside the office hours as well, right? So sometimes you may need answer to the email, which may require for the client, immediate attention. Sometimes in when you are into the position into the pre-sales or sales thing, or at the senior level where your approvals required to acquire some businesses, right? So in that case, organization does not want to wait for the next 10 hours or 8 hours to be, becomes available. So they want immediate. So that's why they provide you the handheld devices to become productive even after the off hours and office hours as well. Okay, so even that devices are also connected. So it becomes easy when these devices are connected over the LAN. So management becomes very easy, right? But when such devices are not connected over the LAN or the WAN, then it becomes very difficult to manage these devices, right? Before COVID, some of the organization had this work from home infra, we can say, or the remote working infra setup, right? In terms of Azure, in terms of, sorry, in terms of AirWatch, in terms of Microsoft Intune, or other different mode, right? Some were using VPN to connect to the remote remotely. But after COVID, it has become a kind of flood. Like, every organization is setting up themselves and preparing themselves to work from home. That anytime the situation can happen, right? Before COVID, it was not necessary. People even not think of how people will work from home, right? ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था, माइंड में नहीं था कि जीवन में कभी भी घर से काम करेंगे. But it has to. It is now a necessity for every organizations when they are setting up infrastructure for in-house or on-premises. Parallelly, they have to also prepare infra for the remotely working users. Even nowadays, users is also demanding before even the salary, what would be my salary? They ask for, do you provide hybrid working model? Do you gives the remote working facility or not, right? So even if they get the higher package, but no hybrid working model, no remote working model, they leaves the job. They switch to another organization, right? And also this has become, the older, even the older people also, you may have heard about the news from the Apple that they ask users to come to the office, and then several users switch to the Google because Google were providing the remote working facility. They left the job into the Apple. Okay. Now again, Google has made it mandatory. When in Google also people are not going to work, they prefer to work from home. Especially the woman kind of thing, she preferred to work from home because she has responsibility for work and homes and children's as well. So they prefer to work from home. But now organization is demanding them. Google has recently, I think 2 days or 3 days ago, they have forced that they have to come to the office at least thrice in a week. If don't, they can be ready for the layoff again. Amazon has also given this kind of notice to their user. So we can see with this remote, whereas we get leverages for working together. I mean, sometimes it becomes productive, very productive when you are at home because you are working in the healthy mind. Sometimes it does not, because the problems and the challenges of the homes also abstract, right? So how to handle such devices who are not connected with the office network? right? Let's say office gives you a cell phone or a tablet or a iPad, iPod OS to work parallelly with along with the laptops, right? So if such devices if are not connected through the LAN or WAN, then how do we manage that? So basically the infra, like I said, the infra to support remote devices that every organization is preparing themselves. Every organization is setting up the remote infra tools to manage the remote devices, right? Before MDM, it was not. After MDM, sorry, before COVID, no one was prepared. After COVID, everyone is preparing themselves. Okay, be it laptop, be it be it any kind of handheld devices, right? So there are MDM solutions, right? There are solutions available into the market who only supports specific devices, like they only supports laptop, they do not support mobile devices, such as if we talk about the legacy method that we are currently using, like SSCM, Marimba, and BigFix. They also support remote device management, but that too device has to be the VPN connector, right? In the legacy method, we used to manage the Windows devices. So basically, they tend to provide support to the devices who are connected through the LAN, WAN, or the intranet. But there is also limitation that they do not support handheld devices, right? If you ask them to support for mobile phone, cell phone, Android devices, iOS devices, Windows, Mac, Chromebooks, they cannot. They have their own limitations. But with Intune or with other MDM solutions, I can say there are flexibility that you can use. You can support various types of platforms. Okay, so here we have understand the user and the scope of the devices. Okay, now, like I said, what is user demanding nowadays that, like I said before salary, they ask for the working culture, working facilities, whether remote, whether I should be able to work from home, whether I should be able from, this is actually the current demand of the user. So ultimately they wants that work from anywhere culture, okay, so that they can be productive from anywhere. There should not be obligation to come to the office all the times. All right, moving to this user demands, right? I have listed down few of them. Okay, so what is that? What they expect is that they expect to be work from any location. Okay, be it home, be it backyard, be it mountain, be it railway station, be it airport, coffee shop, anywhere. Devices, they do not just want to work with the Windows devices, right? They wants to be work from any of these platforms, right? They also do not want to stick with the office devices, right? If organization gives them the laptop and desktop to work on, maybe the desktop and laptop is not available while I'm traveling, while on the road, I should be able to connect with the office resources through my devices, whatever available with me. If I have my personal Mac with me, then I should be able to connect with that. If I have my iOS with me, I should be able to connect with that. Even if I have Android tablets, I should be able to connect all the time. So this is what user is demanding nowadays. Okay. Accessibility, right? If, like I said, if any of these platforms are available to me and if I am connecting to the office resources, then there should be the ease of use of access app to the applications, business applications, all the platforms. You cannot say that I can only provide you the Windows support on the Windows devices only. I do not have infra for iOS. I don't have infra for Mac. No, it should not be like that. So they want the ease of use of applications accessibility across all the platform whosoever they connect with. Data also needs to be protected, be it all platform, the data should also be protected. So it becomes the admin's responsibility when they are providing user to connect with any of the platforms. So it's their responsibility to maintain and manage the security across all the platforms. And one of the popular is the bring your own device. Okay. Personal device. So be it laptop, desktop, tablet, and cell phone, user would like to use any type of devices, whichever devices they have, because they do not want to carry with the second devices which organization provides all the times, right? Because they can only carry one devices at a time. So bring your own device is the features that make more personalized and make more popular this MDM solution. Whereas this MDM solution is capable enough to cater services on corporate devices, like we provide them desktop and laptops. So company also provides these kinds of devices to them, right? The company also gives tablet, they also give Surface, they also gives iPad, iPod to the user. Not in India, but in the European region. In US also, people, do not want to carry these second devices, but mostly into the European region, they prefer to have the corporate devices with them. So they do not want to involve their personal device with the corporate things. Okay. Moving to the next one here. This is the scenario what we are going to discuss line by line. What is the challenges? What is the current challenges which organization is facing and how they are dealing with that situation? Okay. So it is like extremely difficult for IT department, right, to take control over the mobile devices that are usually not wired, like we have already discussed few of things is here, not wired to the corporate network or nor administrated by them. So at the same time they have no control over what application and software they installs, right? That is also crucial things, that managing the applications, installations, and so how they behave and how it is secured or what files they are downloaded. So keeping business data along with personal data can be a huge challenge for some of the employees if they fail to keep their devices updated. So usually we only updates when we are pushed to. Being as a normal user or regular user of the devices, we do not worry about what is the OS, what is the security patches of the devices, right? But being as an IT professional, it matters to us because sometimes we also carries the PII as well. Okay, we also carry the organizational data in it. So being as an IT professional, we always have to keep updating our devices that we are using. And if we are carrying any corporate resource and PII information in. So failing to keep device update with the latest patches increase the possibility of the device being exposed to the vulnerabilities, right? So with the arrival of personal devices in the workforce, the possibility of virus hacks and other cybersecurity risk is elevated. So in contrast, basically hardware run and monitored by the IT departments makes an company executives and IT folks feel more protected against data breaches and other disaster security risks. So basically it is the questions the employee ask when they enroll their devices with corporate networks. So usually these are the few questions where they ask like, are their device protected with the organizational policies? I mean, these are the questions which employee ask to the uh, organization, and as an organization they have to comply with the answer, they have to give them answer. Do IT have access to the personal data? Will their personal data run at the risk being wiped out at the time of leaving the organization? I mean, these are few, but there are many more lists which organization has to deal with. So sometimes legally also organization has to answer these questions when it has to deploy at the various geolocations. So maybe the data policy in India can be different than the data policy into the Europe and the USA. But recently, Government of India has also launched the data privacy bill, right? Data protections bill. So that is almost similar, which has been practiced into the European region and the US, but late. I mean, we can say that government has launched it finally, whereas there was no data protections policy for the user. It has its own risk and other things, but being as a normal user, which is useful for us, but for some reason, for diplomatic perspective, that can be, there can be the risk as well, which Indian government has to deal with answering all those queries. But in the European region, there are GDPR, which is called General Data Protections Policy and Regulations are there, which protect the rights for the users, that if someone is collecting your mobile number. Right now in India, everyone can comes to at doorstep and saying, I'm the government employee and I'm collecting these informations for the government schemes, so I need your Aadhaar number, PAN number, and phone number. So these are the very easily targeted things they can collect anytime, and we also provides them anytime. Not in into the metro cities, but especially in the villages. If you walk there, so you'll find that day in day out someone is collecting these informations in the form of, I am the government employee and collecting it for so and so government schemes, right? So but the thing is that how they are consuming and what they are doing with the data. Are they selling those information? I mean, they are the PII for us, but in India people do not understand what is PII. Very few people. Okay. So they know the meaning of privacy of this information, but someone who is collecting, you may have also been hearing that some so and so data has been breached and are selling at some sites and some portal at so and so prices. So now in India also all the companies has to follow these rules, right? For the data protections policy, like if they are collecting the information, if they are collecting users PII, for how many days they have to collect, store this information, right? What will happen after the mentioned date? If say I need this information for the 6 month, I will only having the 6 months of the information. Then after 6 months, what will happen? How you are going to dispose it? Right? What if in case if it is breached from the from your environment? Let's say if someone is collecting collecting agencies, right? So what happen if it is breached from your environment? What could be the penalties, fines, or other things? So these organizations, if someone is global organizations, they also have to deal with these legal complications, answering all these queries based on the geographical locations. So do IT have permissions to search the devices? If you say yes, then you have to answer why, BYOD. Okay, so user can say no, I don't want to be monitored. मैं कहाँ हूँ, कैसे हूँ, क्या हूँ? I don't want to be tracked. Okay, so will the discovered data hold up in arbitration cases if the employee is fired and the company wipes his device? Are they liable if the personal data is also erased? If in case by mistaken or intentionally or unintentionally, if it gets deleted, then what will happen? How the personal data will be recovered? So as many employee connects their own devices to office network from perimeter network or home network having less or no gateway protections, it increases the chances of vulnerabilities and attackers, right? So many of the mobile companies also customizes the OS with own proprietary branding, hardware promotional apps, right? So you may also noticing nowadays that Oppo, Vivo, and other Chinese brand of devices, they are promoting their business even if you are browsing the applications. Okay, if you scroll the screen up and then we get a list of all our applications. So at that place also a pop-up gets up with the promotions for businesses and games and so, which I personally don't like because it can be your security can be breached anytime because they are keeping an eyes what you're doing on your phone, right? So someone said that your phone is listening all the time what you speak. So speak carefully when your phone is around with you. है ना, कहीं पे फोन है, आप घर में कुछ बात कर रहे हैं, तो at that time also phone is listening. When we install applications, it asks so many permissions, so sometimes we forget which applications or which permissions given to the applications. You never know which application is listening all the time. Okay. So this directly creates fertile lands for attackers and usually get affected by malware, spyware, and the several other heuristics attacks. So hence we need to find the solutions to manage such devices, yet provide flexibility of ease of using this device from inside and outside the corporate network. And Microsoft has the line of protection and management source to answer most of the above concern, right? Which is called Microsoft Intune with mobile device management, right? Microsoft Intune with mobile device management. Okay. So this was the scenarios that we will be going through. The outline of our training, and around this, we will be developing our architectural things. Okay, any questions so far?
No, Mitch.
No,
Oh my God, sorry.
no, ma.
Okay. So in the next slide here, we have result of couple of surveys which has been conducted by the autonomous organizations. Like 52% of the information workers across 17 countries, they have reported using 3 or more devices for the work, right? 3 or more devices means it can be the desktop and laptop. That's a common thing. And one of them you can add is like Android devices, cell phone. Simply, we can say that cell phone. Not classifying the cell phone further, but it's a cell phone. Okay. And then 90% of the enterprise will have 2 or more mobile operating systems to work on, right? Maybe operating system is in terms of one is the Windows, right? Another can be the Android and iOS, MacBook, Chrome as well. Nowadays it has been included. So we can say that, on an average, it's a 2 or more mobile operating system to support. Also, more than 80% of the employees which has admitted to use non-approved software. to use software as a service applications in their job. So sometimes it usually happens with the developer. And for us also, we may have encountered with these situations when we are doing anything, and when we have something deliverables urgently, at that time we feel that application is not working as expected, or we are getting some application crashing kind of thing also. So then you download it from the Google. Sometimes we find that particular application require any other further software to parse the file or convert the file from one form to another. That is not possible to download and go through the correct process to download from the application inventory. Rather, we go to the Google and download that, and then we get our work completed. So admin have no control over such devices when they are not connected with the networks, how they are using, what they are downloading, whether the data will be secured or not. Usually our data is not secured in such types of software. So how to deal, this is also organizational challenge with this new norm of mobility that organization has to deal with, right? These are some known challenges for them. Okay, now this is also one of the challenge when organization has to deal with when they are planning for deployment of the remote devices. I mean, supporting the remote devices when they are in the process of setting up the infra, then setting up the infra for the remote devices and remote users. So these are also one of them challenges, like workers in the many locations, then how to deal with them if it is not necessary when devices at the one places or inside the offices. So it, like I said, it becomes easier to manage them, users and devices. But when they are not at the one place, okay, maybe not into the same city, not into the same countries, not if it is distributed along other countries, so it becomes very difficult to manage them, the users. Multiple configurations, version, and licenses. So if these devices are, I mean, obviously there can be a different set of configurations, licenses, and versions of the OS and the hardware when users are at the different location. There is a chance of compromised security as well on these remote PCs if they are not updated with the current patches and securities. High infrastructure investment required sometimes if you start providing devices to all of your users across, if they are setting up at the different location, that's becomes a huge cost to the organization. And then user on devices into the corporate. So to reduce the high infrastructure investment for the organization, if we allow BYOD, then again there is a risk if there is if user is bringing their personal devices in our environment. So these are few challenges that I have listed down. Yeah, so there can be many more. Okay, so the answer for all these query is mobile device management. Okay, so MDM solutions. Organization has to deploy MDM solutions to overcome these challenges, right? So like I said, these are the challenges for the organizations. So if there is a problem, there is a solution also. So the solution is deploying the MDM solution, which is the mobile device management. Okay. So on an high note, it says it's a solution designed to empower your enterprise workforce with the power of mobility, which means, right, it strengthen your employee enterprise workforce is the employee with the power of mobility, so that they enhancing the employee productivity as well without compromising the corporate security. So in the simple term, it enables our user to, power of mobility, that they can work from anywhere, they can work from using any of the devices and platform, whereas it enhances the user productivity as well, right? For example, let's say I am at the airport traveling to my hometown or somewhere else, and all of the sudden I receive a message, a call from my manager or from the team members to uh, do some activities that it require your intervention. So at that point of time, I can simply say, okay, I do not have laptop and I'm not carrying the things, so I cannot revert at that point of time, right? So even if it's that point of time, so what will happen that they have to wait for the next 8 hours to become me online, right? If I'm carrying the mobile devices or handheld devices provided by the organization, even if it is personal devices, and if the infra is set up, so in a very short span of time, I can say, okay, let me quickly check and then answer. If I answer the things and if the things get done into the office, then it enhances the productivity, right? So they do not have to wait for the next 8 hours or so, which enhances the productivity as well without compromising the security also, right? So it's not like unsecured devices, that is the secure devices. So it enables your user to use their choices of devices, right? Be it Android, be it any platforms, okay? And also use the any type of application respective of the platform, and also protecting the data, right? And all that can be managed from the unified environment. Okay, so this is the features that MDM solution provides you. Okay, so it is not like you have Apple devices, or you have a Windows devices, you have a Mac devices or Android devices. All that have to be managed from different platforms or different admin consoles. So no, you have the unified console, one single consoles from where you can manage all your platforms. Okay. Even you can manage users, you can manage applications, you can protect data. So all that can be done from the one single place. So that is called mobile device management, right? So, okay, now here. So you can see these are the different products. These are the MDM products. These are the mobile device management products, which are currently available into the market, right? Like there is a Sorti, AirWatch, Manage Engine, Barramundi, Sane Mobile. Intune is also one of them. Intune is also MDM product. So these are all MDM products. Okay. So it is not necessary that organization has to use Intune only. They can use any one of them as a product as per their requirement and as per their financial things and so on. Okay, so Intune is one of them, right? That we are going to learn. We'll talk about the Intune throughout the session. Okay, so what Intune gives as an MDM? So it's a cloud-based solution and a cloud-based endpoint management solution, which mainly focuses on mobile device management. So here we are using mobile in terms of not the cell phone, right? Not the Android, not the iOS, but entire in Windows also. We call Windows devices as in mobile devices. So any devices which is portable, which can be, accessed outside the office network on the way all the times. That is called the mobile devices. So here we will term this mobile as an portable devices. If we have to quote the cell phone or Android and iOS, we will use the term cell phone. Okay. So that focuses on mobile device management and mobile application management, right? So be it multiple platforms, we have to manage the application on all other platforms as well. And PC managements also, right? When this is mobile device management, so they are managed as an MDM solution, but there is a term they have used, PC management. So nowadays this we call it as an Windows auto Windows autopilot, right? So I mean that comes into the terms of the PC management, okay, which we also call it as a modern PC management. Okay, right. So you control how your organization devices are being used, including cell phone, tablet, laptops, and desktop, and you configure policies to control such devices and applications. Okay. Intune also allows people to use their bring your own personal devices, which is called bring your own device. Right. So when we give our users desktop and laptop, they are called corporate provided devices or organizational provided devices. Right. Sometimes we also named it like COD. It is called BYOD, bring your own device. They also call it as a COD, corporate owned devices. So these are jargons you may come up across the session. I mean, not in this session, but outside into the documentation world or into the internet world. Okay, so I have made it simple here. For personal devices, we call it as the BYOD, and for corporate devices, we named it like corporate phone and corporate devices. Okay. Now, mobile device management. So throughout this session, we will learn about this MDM solution. We will also learn about the MM, mobile application management, and PC management, which is called Windows Autopilot, right? All three are separate technology. There is no dependency on each other. They all three can exist independently, and all three can will be managed by the Intune platform only. That is a unified platform, Intune platform. So all three will be managed from the Intune console itself. Okay. So this is called MDM. This is called MM. Okay. Like I said, will this exist individually? So answer is yes for both of them. Can they exist together? Yes, both can be exist together, and all three can also be exist together as well. Okay. So if any organization says I only want to deploy MDM, which is fine, they can deploy the MDM. If any organization says I only want to deploy the MAM sections only, not the MDM, I don't want my user to enroll the devices. They can use any kind of application without enrollment, right? So they can use MAM sections. If they say I only need the autopilot, not these two, so they can happily deploy this autopilot as well. Okay. Now
So
these
Uma,
are
Uma,
some, yes.
when we talk about MDM, MAM, and autopilot, so these
Mhm.
three are all an integral solution provided by Intune, right? So they all
Correct.
comes
So
under Intune.
yes, yes. They
Okay.
all comes and managed through the Intune only. That is
Okay.
why I said we mentioned the term called unified device
Correct.
management, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. 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 And Intune itself is a part of Microsoft Endpoint Management Solution.
No longer.
Oh,
It
okay.
used
Yeah,
to
because
be.
earlier it used to be right. 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 Right.
Yes. So in August 2020, they renamed the Intune because before August 2020, Intune were accessible from the Azure. So you had to log into the Azure and search for the Intune services. So it was accessible within the Azure. In August 2020, they made it individual, right?
Okay.
Endpoint.microsoft.com. Through that URL, you could have access it. Till that
Okay.
time, since then, I think 6 months or 7 months ago, they have again changed it to the Intune Admin Center. So
Right.
before that, it used to be called Endpoint Manager. Now it is called Intune Admin Center.
Admin Center, right. That's why I was a
Yes,
little bit confused. Because earlier it used to be a part of the bundled configuration.
right.
Right. Okay.
So
Okay.
still there is no change in that, but name has the name has changed.
Right.
So you may
Endpoint
call
manager
it
has become
as a
Intune administrator.
yes, Intune
Okay.
Admin
Okay.
Center. URL
Okay.
has also changed, but you can access the admin URL from both of the places by typing endpoint.microsoft.com as well. They will open the same admin center.
Right.
And if you
Right.
type intune.microsoft.com, that will also open
Intune.microsoft.com
the
then
same
also opens the same, right? That's
portal.
exactly what
Right.
I noticed the other day. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Intune, so endpoint is become the I mean, by the time that will be deprecate, so we should be continue with the new URL, which is intune.microsoft.com. Right. Otherwise, you will have a practice of telling endpoint manager and you accessing endpoint admin center. Okay. All right. Just a moment. Yeah, just give me a moment. Huh? Okay. Okay, so this is the enterprise journey of the Intune that you can just go through with this when it was started and how this is progressing. This is just for good to know. You can just go through it by yourself. And this is the milestone that they have completed over the year. Then we have what does Microsoft Intune do? So this image I have taken from the Microsoft documentations. You can also find this image over there that Microsoft Intune is capable of perform these. I mean, these are the benefits and these are the features and Microsoft capabilities to do the things, right? So now we can say that Microsoft Intune is capable to manage devices, capable to manage identities, capable to manage the application as well, right? So you can manage identity in terms of groups and user identity in terms of roles, in terms of user profiles, all that can be managed from the Intune. But identity is basically managed by the Azure Active Directory. So Intune just leverage those things. So when I say users and groups, Intune does not store that thing in themselves. They just leverage it from the Azure Active Directory. Okay. It has reference added to it, so you can use that part, but cannot store within Intune, right? Devices. So it also manages the devices like policies, compliance policies, condition access policies, configurations policies, personal and the corporate devices. In terms of application, it is capable to perform the deployment, updates, protection, and removal of the applications, usually the entire life cycle of the applications. It supports for remote and hybrid work, right? It has a web-based admin center console where you don't have to have custom applications and dedicated devices where you can manage it. So be it any platforms or any place, you can log into the admin console and then manage the devices. It also provides supports for the VPN, right? VPN tunnel and then zero trust endpoint securities. These are the additional benefits that this is basically the separate things, but that is again managed by the Microsoft Intune. Okay. Zero trust is called the conditional access that you can also manage it, but zero trust or conditional access is again not a part of Intune. It's a part of the Azure Active Directory, right? Uh, okay, then there is a third-party integration that you can do with Microsoft Intune, such as managed attaching or integrating managed Google Play Store, Apple Token, which is APNS, TeamViewer, Mobile Threat and Defense Services. Along with this third-party integration, you can perform the internal application integration as well, such as Configuration Manager, which is the SCCM, Autopilot, right? Autopilot is again not a part of MDM and MM. It's all different. Okay. Defender for endpoints, auto patch, analytics, 365. These are a few applications that you can integrate with Microsoft Intune. For reporting purposes, you can use Power BI, right? I mean, Intune has inbuilt reporting capabilities, but for more granular level of the reporting, you can use Power BI. Then there is a self-services, which allows users to manage their devices by themselves by logging into that portal from where they can remove their devices, they can reset the password, and they can perform all other self-service kind of activities. Okay, any questions so far?
No, Umakant.
Okay, so here throughout this session, we will be using the term mobile device management. It's going to be 5 o'clock, right? So can we continue for a few of the minutes, or it's fine? Oh, you have something planned for today.
I have a doctor appointment for my son at 5:30, but doctor is 10 minutes away. So yeah, we can continue another 10-15 minutes.
Okay, so just stop me whenever you wants to go. Okay. Mobile device management is basically a software which allow IT administrator to control, secure, and enforce policies on the smartphone and tablets. Right? People sometimes gets confused with the accessing application on the mobile devices that MDM allows user to access the applications. No, mobile device management, like it says, it's a software which allow IT administrator to control, secure, and enforce policy on the smartphone and tablets. It's basically it provides the security to the devices, right? Its job is to secure the things, secure the device. So which involves I mean, it has 5 steps involvement in it, right? One is the registration and enrollment, configuration, security, managing, and monitoring. So if I says I need to go through this MDM process, that means that will involve all these 5 process where you have to enroll your device, you have to register your device. And we registered through it the company portal. So it's a company portal is an application, it's a client application that every platform has to download if they want to enroll and manage their devices. Okay. Then when we enroll our devices, then that go through the enrollment process. On screen instructions are there where you have to agree some of the things, and then policies are enforced. Compliance policies are enforced to the devices. Once your device becomes compliance, then there are security policies that gets deployed to your devices, which enforces the organizational rules and policies that we have defined. For example, let's say if there is a password complexity, certain level of password complexity we want and we expect from the device, which gets enrolled into the MDM, that we can push on those devices and user has to comply with that. If user do not, then that will not be enrolled into the environment. Okay. So through that, we enforce the security. Let's say if you want to block any kind of application, that we can deploy it onto the device, the policy. If you want to block YouTube, want to block certain URL, want to block certain features and functionalities, such as want to block the taking the backup, want to block the camera, yeah, want to block the taking the screenshot, all that can be done through this security configuration policy. Okay. And then managing actions, we can take the actions upon when device gets lost somewhere or someone thieves gets the device. And let's say, for example, wiping the device, locking the device, resetting the password, setting the custom notifications, all that can be done into this managing sections. And then monitoring the activities, like what all activities happening in it, whether the applications we have deployed that has installed or not, right? Kind of thing. All the system applications we can also monitor in this MDM process. So when someone says it's a MDM, then it's a security part. It's not kind of allowing any kind of resources. Okay. It just provide the security. Yeah. Any questions in it in
Uma,
this MDM? Yeah.
yeah, I was actually waiting for you to finish. So just have a quick question over here. See, we can say that, okay, registration, configuration, security, managing and monitoring through the
Hmm.
MDM. However, imagine a situation where there is a large organization who has multiple devices.
Again, we lost your voice.
Oh, is it better now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so my question is, if there are like 100,000 employees in an organization who are not
Mm-hmm.
only using the organization's laptops, but
Mm-hmm.
they are using their personal devices, and personal devices I'm talking about, like my case I'm talking about. So I'm using my personal phone to
Mm-hmm.
access Teams and Outlook and a couple of other things on my phone,
Correct.
including Edge and all that. So
Correct.
how that managing part comes into picture and security part comes into picture? See,
Again, we lost your voice.
okay, is
Yes,
it
you
fine
were
now?
telling
Okay.
managing part. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So my question is, when it comes to registration and enrollment, of course, through the company portal application, it is an
Uh,
individual registration that happens for
right.
all the
Right.
personal devices.
Correct.
However, how is the security and the management? I mean, are they a part of a group policy inside the MDM software, or how does that security and management comes into picture on the personal devices? That's I'm a little bit keen to know that.
Yeah. So the things is also is confusing here. Like under the mobile device management, and all our cell phone comes into the picture, such as iOS, Android, right? Along with
Correct.
this, we also use Mac and Windows as an MDM.
Correct.
So when
Correct.
we say Windows as an MDM, that means that is not a corporate device,
Correct.
right? So they are not company provided. So when company gives you the laptop to work on, they are domain joined devices. So they are
Correct.
managed
Absolutely.
separately. They are managed separately, right? Like Marimba,
Correct.
BigFix, SSCM, or Windows Autopilot. So Windows
Correct.
Autopilot is here to manage the domain joined devices, not the
Correct.
MDM devices. So
Correct.
here
But
in
I'm talking about
mobile
the
device
personal devices.
management, yes,
Right.
personal devices, there are policies we have to define. There are certain policies there that we will be look into it after that. So there are certain policies we have to define, and that will applies on the they are the user based profile. They are user based policies, not the device based policies. So in MDM, right, whatever policy we define, that is the user based policy. So that will
Okay.
apply on the users.
Okay. I have one more question in that case, and I'm taking you a little bit around the identity
Hmm.
access management process. So
Hmm.
identity access management, when we talk about IAM, it talks about limiting, or I would say directing the access of a particular group of people for a specific
Hmm.
set of permissions.
Correct,
Right.
correct.
So when
Yes.
you say profile related, so is that something related to identity access management being merged with the or integrated within mobile device management, wherein a certain group of people can do XYZ,
Correct.
however a certain group of people cannot do? Is that the
Yeah.
right understanding?
Yes. So that is why I said identity management. So Intune is capable to manage into the identity part of the users as well. That includes the group management and the users identity
Got you.
profiles management, right?
Okay.
So there you have that options. You either you apply the policy to the entire devices. Like if you have a unified policy, you can apply to the entire device. So no need for the classification and customization. But if you have certain markets or specific markets or reason you want to manage it separately, so you can apply the
Right.
policy into the groups, so that
Right.
only the certain groups of users and devices will have that policies
Have that
applied.
permission or policy. Okay.
Right,
And this
right.
company portal application, what we are referring to, that is not applicable on the domain joined appliances or the machines, because they're anyways a part of the domain. which are synced with the Intune portal. So they should not
No,
have the
but
company
while,
portal.
no, no, you can. So when you enroll your device, when domain join devices, I mean, in autopilot, when you prepare your devices, it also
Hmm.
prepare themselves for work as an MDM solution also,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
right?
Because it is, if it is Windows Autopilot, there is no
Hmm.
requirement of a company portal. Company portal is only
No,
downloaded when it is.
I mean, let me finish it up, right? So when you have a
Okay.
SSCM or old legacy method to deploy, so in the
Uh-huh.
legacy method, your devices are not ready for the MDM. Even your Windows devices is not ready for the MDM solution. Okay, so that has to prepare differently when you have a co-management in place. But when you enroll your device through the autopilot, Windows devices prepare themselves to work as an MDM device as well. So you
Correct.
can install
Right.
company portal and you can take action on devices through this Intune as well.
Okay. On the company managed devices as well.
Yes, on the company
Okay.
manage. So autopilot is all about the domain, managing the domain device.
Managing the domain. Right. 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 Right.
Yes,
Right.
you
Okay.
can also leverage them as a MDM solution, but in legacy method, when you have a SSCM, your device is not prepared to manage through the cloud. That is why there is a coexistence. That is why there is a Intune integration happen with the legacy method. Then only
Gotcha.
you can install company portal into that devices and then you manage it from the both of the places.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Okay. So majority of the confusion creates here. So it's good that you are clearing your doubt. So that will help you to understand the things properly. Yes, this the catch is here only understanding the MDM, what is MDM, what is BIOD, and what is the
Absolutely.
domain joined devices. Yeah.
Yes.
Then only you can also answer into the interview in what context the person is asking the question. ठीक है. Okay, let's move to the next. In MEM context, like I said, it's also a separate. So it's a strategy and process, we say, for around developing and procuring applications, right? Sometimes we develop our application, sometimes we procure it. And then securing the application, then deploying the application, accessing application, configuring, updating, and removing. So there are so many things in this application management. So there has to be a source. Either we develop in-house or purchase it from the vendor, right? When we purchase it, then we have to secure the application. When securing, also deploying to the group of users and devices, then we have to make it accessible to the user, what level of accessibility they would have. Then the configurations, right? Configuring the device, how it will look like its UX, its functionalities, what will be available to home, and then updating, obviously time to time we have to update that, and then also make it out to the business as well, removing the device. So these are the process involved into the applications from mobile device used by the employee, right? So here is an image of tablet where we can see both of the applications are at the one places, like managed applications. When there is a company provided application, we call it as an managed application, and then all other applications are called the personal applications, right? So in which we enforce corporate data access requirement. We also enforce here, right? It prevents the data leakage on the devices, enforce encryption of the app data at the rest, and the app level selective IP it has. So like we saw in this slide here, in this mobile device management, we wipe out the completely device. So when it enrolls, administrator have the full control over the devices, right? They can control your device. They can send a command to your device. In device management, enrollment is necessary, right? If you say I want my device to be managed, then enrollment is necessary. Here in MAM, device enrollment is not required. Okay, if any user says I only want to use Outlook, Teams, Skype for Business, or these basic applications, then you says enrollment is not required. Right? They can directly go to the Play Store or App Store. They can download it and they can log into it. The moment they log into the application with the corporate credential, the policy that we have defined that gets applied to the device at the application level, not the device level. Clear what MAM is?
I
So
just
in
wanted to
MDM,
clarify. I just wanted
yeah.
to clarify one more thing around company portal. So when we talk about mobile application management,
Mhm.
is company portal installation and securing, or I would rather say logging with your corporate credentials, not a mandatory thing on the company portal?
Okay, so two things is here. Installing And I mean, downloading and installing the company portal does not mean that your device is enrolled, right?
Okay.
You can download company portal, you can log into the company portal, right? But you don't know what application company has provided for as an MAM. What we only knows is the Outlook and MS Teams as a common application, right?
Hmm.
Maybe company has given you permissions to access 10 application as an MM solution where you do not require your device to be enrolled. Okay. So in that scenario, we can download the company portal application and we can log into the company portal application. So when you log in, there you get an option for enrollment and postpone the thing, right? So there are two options, begin and postpone. So when you click on begin, that begins the enrollment procedure. And then if you postpone that, canceling that part, if you just only get login to the application, that gives you the application access, which admin has added as an MAM accessibility. Right. So
Okay.
there you can get a list of applications. So that does not mean your device is enrolled. That is still
Okay.
your device is unenrolled.
Okay. So company portal does not guarantee a compliance onto the devices.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Because you have not enrolled. So some of the applications when we add, we mark them available for enrolled devices and we also mark them available for both enrolled devices and unenrolled devices.
Okay. Because
Right.
there is a reason, Uma, I'm asking this
Hmm,
question because, and there is a
hmm,
reason behind that. A lot of time I have seen
hmm,
if we just directly go to the Play Store and download Outlook and Teams onto a
hmm,
personal device, they
hmm,
first of all route us to take to go to the company portal, download company portal, log in with the corp credentials.
correct.
Once you are logged into the corp credentials, then the compliance sequence runs wherein your device is being checked for the compliance security, whether it is the latest Android version with the latest patch. So it has a limitation. If I remember, it does not support anything beyond Android 11 and iOS 14. So first of all, that check happens. Then it checks around the what do you call that? The password policy of the system as in
Hmm,
the phone I'm talking about. And
hmm,
then once that compliance runs, which is like a 10-minute process, then it
hmm,
allows to download and log into the Outlook and Teams. This is something I've personally observed and hence sort of sharing.
correct.
And that's why
Correct.
I was a little bit confused.
So before your queries, I said to a statement, when we add application, then we have
Hmm.
to make it available for enrolled devices.
Right.
Enroll means managed devices. Like you said, when
Right.
you download Outlook and you go to the sign in, it asks you to enroll your device. So that means Outlook is not available without enrollment, right? So
Right.
there at the time of assigning the application, we make this decision where we want to add the application. Okay, some
Got you.
application maybe do not require the enrollment, so we also add it as an available for unmanaged application as well, right? Unmanaged device
Got
or
you.
unenrolled
Got you.
device. So we will see
Just the
all these
internet of the
things
cloud
later
bit.
part of, correct. So later
Sure.
part of the things. So we are just doing the scenarios. Okay. All
Sure.
right. So moving to the next. Key feature of MDM and MAM. People also gets confused in what is MDM and what is MAM, right? So MAM is completely app-centric approaches where we control and manage the device applications on the devices, right? And whereas MDM is a device approach of securing and controlling your devices. Okay, so if someone says, can we manage the device through the MAM policy? No, we cannot. We will only manage the applications, corporate applications, not the personal applications. Okay, with MDM, we can manage entire device, be it corporate application, be it personal applications. If we have to wipe out the device, I can wipe entire device, and that will be the factory reset. Okay, so these are the things that comes under the MAM and MDM, like app delivery, app security. I mean, all things that revolves around applications that will come under the MAM, like OTA, remote configuration, security, backup restore, remote log, device provisioning, software installations. They all come under the MDM section. Okay.
Just a small question. When we talk about remote wipe, we
Hmm.
are only talking about wiping the corporate profile of the user, not the personal profile, right?
No, so like I said, it's a full device approach. Full device means entire, be it personal application or the corporate application. So when we will wipe, it will wipe the entire device to its factory reset.
Oh, is that? I mean, then it's a shortfall. I mean, I have my personal device. which is company enrolled, which is enrolled with the company policies as well. So if there is a remote
So
wipe that happens,
yeah, that's what we discussed in our scenarios. There were certain
yeah,
questions
yeah,
which
yeah,
user
exactly.
asked,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking
right?
now, because that's what exactly we spoke about.
Is here. IT faced with the questions from the employee, right? And here
Yeah.
also, if employee, these are the legal questions also. If employee is
Hmm.
fired and company wipes his device,
Yeah.
who will be the liable for personal data loss,
Right.
right? And also, user is also asking, will my personal data on the risk if it is wiped out at the time of
Correct.
leaving the organization, right? So this is the scenario we have discussed. Okay,
So
but
it will be
yes,
answered in the
sometimes
upcoming time. Yeah.
no, the answer is straight clear here that when you enroll your device, company has the rights to wipe your device.
Okay.
Company has the rights, they can do, because that is why you are enrolling your device. You are agreeing with the terms and conditions. That
Hmm.
is why you are enrolling. If you don't want to manage your device, get managed by the organization, then don't enroll.
Okay.
Okay, so if you don't enroll, sometimes then it becomes again a question. If I don't want to enroll, let's say I'm at the senior position of the organization, and then I don't want to enroll my device. Okay, then organization will say, here is your device, take it with you. तो आपको एक अलग से डिवाइस पकड़ा देगा. If you don't want to enroll your personal device, then corporate device ले लो. तब दो डिवाइस कैरी करो आप, है ना? तब तो
Okay.
आप करोगे, because there is no personal things into the corporate device. Then आप बोलेंगे कि नहीं, मैं फिर दो डिवाइस कैरी करूंगा, मुझे अलग से एक अरेंजमेंट करना पड़ेगा उसको कैरी करने के लिए, है ना? So then you would say, let it be the personal device. It's better to have one device than two device. So this is the real time challenges that comes up.
Right, right, right. That's what I'm thinking. Acha, Uma, I have to go. Is it okay if we can continue with the
That
next?
is fine. I have no issues. That's why I said this is going to be the 1 hour session for
Hmm.
today only. And then, I mean, we'll start with the EMS part in the next
Right,
session,
enterprise
right?
mobile and security. Right,
Correct.
right, right.
EMS things and all. So again,
Hmm.
this is half. This is not completed so far. So
Hmm.
from next classes onwards, we'll do start from this EMS and then enrollment of our, I mean, signing up of our tenant.
Acha, next class, what time would that be?
I'll tell you, because on Saturday there will be end of couple of classes, 2 or 3 classes is going to be end.
Huh. So if you can
So possibly
give.
4 or 5 भी हम लोग रखते हैं अभी next Saturday के लिए. Maybe Sunday को हमारा early morning 9 o'clock हम लोग start कर सकते हैं.
Sure, sure. Or
Yeah,
Saturday, ko
Sunday,
if you can spare like Saturday, ko if you can spare an hour, hour and a half extra, so that will be great.
हाँ, Saturday को हम लोग full fledged रख लेते हैं, है ना?
ठीक है,
Saturday को 4 to 5 है ना, 4 to 6 हम लोग इसको capture
ठीक है.
करते हैं.
Sure.
Okay, then I'll share this. Okay, then give me your email address. आप WhatsApp पे अपना email address दे दीजिए, where I will upload all the documents and the recordings, right?
Sure.
Okay.
ठीक है. All right. So any questions from you, Aman? Yeah, you may go, Hemant, if in case Aman has any
Sure.
questions and doubt.
Sure.
No, no, Makant. I will talk to you later.
Yep.
Okay.
All right then.
I hope,
Okay.
I hope, Uma, you won't mind my questions because I'm just asking the